Hi, my name is Gourmet. In this video, I'm going over my first impression for both Holy and Disc Priest in Mythic Plus for 11.1 in The War Within. All this testing was basically done in the new Mythic Plus dungeon that was opened this last week, which was Operation Floodgate. And I tried both, and I'm going to go over both, but first I'm going to go over Holy. Holy for me was actually the one I surprisingly enjoyed more. So if you played Holy this last season, The War Within, it felt really rough, but they went ahead and they made a lot of changes to the class and the class tree that makes it feel so much better and honestly like really powerful and almost kind of like Resto Shaman like reminiscent to where like it feels like you press your heals and health bars just actually move even when you don't have like a bunch of CDs. So to start off with, I'm going to go over the bigger changes that impact Mythic Plus. There are a lot of changes that happen to the tree, but I'm mostly just going to focus on the ones that have to do with Mythic Plus. The first big change being the change to Lightweaver. So Lightweaver now stacks up to 4 times. I think this feels a lot better, especially when you would press something like Halo and you get all of your Surge of Light procs and you'd want to use them all instead of like basically like eating and munching your procs. It makes it feel a lot better just to be able to press like your Flash of Light and then stack up your Lightweaver up to 4 stacks and then have those stacks for whenever you need them to just like pump out a bunch of heals. Also going really well with this is Trail of Light. So Trail of Light right now I think is super overpowered if you look at this healing breakdown. Basically, it just makes it so that whenever you heal your next target, it leaves a little bit of healing on the last target that healed. In the past, Holy Priest really struggled with kind of like group healing, like just like healing individuals like with heal. Just didn't feel like enough to get through group damage, but like with the addition of this talent, since it's so over budgeted honestly, and it also just makes like group healing feel better just by being able to like slam heal in order to get through group damage. It feels really good. It feels like you don't even need like anything outside of like Lightweaver and Trail of Light to get through most damage instances. Of course you do have other tools to get through stuff. Another change is the Answered Prayers, which is the thing that used to give you at 50 stacks of prayer mending, used to give you Apotheosis, has moved. And now in its place is a talent called Light and Darkness, and these just buff your holy word spells, and also they make Sanctify bigger, which is really nice in Mythic Plus when you need everybody to kind of be like stacked up, and that almost never happens. The other nice thing is that there's another talent called Holy Celerity, and this just makes it so that all of your holy word spells are now a 45-second CD instead of a 1 minute CD, and it just makes getting back your holy words so much faster. All of these together make it feel like basically you always have healing, and then even outside of like just like the baseline healing list, of course you have like Halo every 1 minute, which is its own kind of like CD when you're playing Archon, and then also you have Apoth every 2 minutes. Another kind of pain point for Holy Priests in the past, of course, has been that they don't do nearly as much damage as Disc Priests. They're still behind on damage, but I think another nice quality of life change they made is a change to Imperial Blaze. Now, whenever you press Chastise, it resets your CD on Holy Fire, and then also it gives you 2 charges of it that are instant cast. So kind of like Imperial Blaze, but instead of like having to press like an extra button and stuff to do it, now this one every single time you press Chastise, you have to just get the 2 free Holy Fires. The damage isn't amazing. The single target prio is pretty decent, and it's kind of like a step in the right direction, of course. And then as for survivability, I think this is probably going to be Holy Priest's biggest pain point, like if you're just comparing like Disc to Holy. I think Holy's like throughput right now feels a lot more powerful than Disc. It feels a lot easier, like there's like almost like no gaps, and you really have the power to like save individuals that just like need healing through like taking damage like super easily compared to Disc. However, its survivability isn't that great because it doesn't have like great defensives. Obviously Disc has like double pain sub, and then Holy Priest just has GS, which honestly isn't quite as good, and it doesn't have 2 stacks of it. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that could end up holding Holy Priest back. But this is definitely me saying, like, if you've been thinking about trying Holy Priest again, this is definitely a green light to give it a try again. I think you would really enjoy it. Okay, so for Disc Priest got quite a few changes, though honestly, it still feels pretty similar in power level and pretty similar in playstyle. So one of the biggest changes it got is its Smite no longer gives you CDR on Shadow Fiend. If you played last season, you knew that you need to, like, farm back your Shadow Fiend if there was like a lot of movement that was going on, so you can get your Shadow Fiend back in time where you wanted it. Then it was really easy to fall behind on healing. So this lowers the like ceiling of how much you can like lower the CD on like your Shadow Fiend. However, the compensation buff they made where it makes Blind Blast and Penance reduce it by 4 seconds instead of the 2 seconds you kind of don't feel that much of a difference. With like your CD on Shadow Fiend, it's a lot more predictable where your CD on Shadow Fiend is going to be every single time. And again, you don't feel as punished if something happens and you keep getting targeted by things that make you move a lot. The other big gameplay change is you no longer have Rapture. That has been completely deleted. This is kind of weird. I feel like Rapture was really good, especially for almost like one-shotty mechanics or like as like an extra defensive. It obviously wasn't like an amazing CD inside of Mythic Plus. Like it was pretty common to just like press your Rapture, put out like maybe 2 of the shields and not even use all the shields by a lot of the people that were pushing. So not the cutest deal, but it feels definitely weird to not have that button anymore. Entropic Rift damage has been nerfed by 30%. This is like probably like the biggest like just like flat out like nerf, in addition to not being able to farm back Shadow Fiend as much. A nice quality of life positive change they made is that Radiance now is up to 40 yards instead of 30 yards. I found that really frustrating sometimes in Mythic Plus if I would like go to Radiance like a melee or a range and they weren't in range of one or the other, just like completely losing that. And the other kind of like big change is that Purge of the Wicked is now just Shadowward Pain again. This is meant as a change for possibly bringing back Twilight Equilibrium. I personally hope that doesn't happen because I find Twilight Equilibrium kind of like a mind boom to try and play because it just requires like so much thought and just a little bit too much effort for what I usually prefer, but maybe it'll bring it back and somebody will really enjoy that intricate gameplay. Even with all of these changes, like I said, the change to like how often you get Shadow Fiend back and the change to the Entropic Rift damage, playing it in like, because I did like a plus 12, I had no problem healing anything compared to like Holy Priest and like Resto Shaman, which I had like an easy time on. It felt basically just as powerful, maybe like a little bit less like intuitive. That is pretty normal when you're learning a new dungeon and you're not like sure where all the damage is going to come and it's not very predictable. I didn't feel less powerful. I didn't feel like the nerfs, again, just a plus 12, but I think that speaks pretty highly and gives like the idea that like this could definitely be meta again. It doesn't seem like the amount of kicks and stops that you need in these dungeons are like oppressive like they have, or in this dungeon is oppressive like it has been in the past. Obviously, we're gonna get more dungeons to test and the opinion on that might change, but if you've been enjoying this free set in the past and you're looking at playing again, I think that this is probably a good sign that it's still gonna be just as powerful and has a chance for sure to be meta again. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll be doing more update videos like this on several healers as I do more testing. Bye.